And welcome everybody to Catherineburg Field in the campus of Southern Utah University for Game 3 of the series between Southern Utah and Idaho State. It was the Bengals besting the Thunderbirds twice yesterday, and today they go for the series sweep, looking to win their third straight after a couple of losses. And the Thunderbirds, meanwhile, are looking to snap a 17-game losing skid. We'll take a quick pause as we play the national anthem here in Cedar City. Well, as we all gazed out to center field, we saw the American and Southern Utah flags blowing as they did almost all day yesterday. Winds again expected in the 10 to 15 mile an hour range today. As of this moment, blowing straight at the batters at home plate. That didn't stop Idaho State from hitting a trio of home runs, including a 2-out, 2-strike grand slam in the top of the fifth of game one to tie the game at 4. They came back to win 6-5, and Idaho State took the second one as well by a score of 7-2. So Southern Utah continues to look for their first home win of the year, while Idaho State has a chance to get over 500. Starting lineups beginning with the Thunderbirds in the field first. Peyton Goodrich is back in the circle after starting game one yesterday. She had been working hard to get through 4 scoreless innings. Very nearly worked out of another jam in the 5th, but allowed that grand slam that I mentioned a moment ago to Angelica Cano. She ended up taking the loss to move her record to 0-7 this year, an 8.78 ERA. She threw 5 innings, gave up 5 earned runs, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts in the first of the doubleheader yesterday. The infield behind her, left to right, Boostet at third, Carasoni at short, Sepulveda at second, Riley Williams is at first, Dreamweaver is in left, McCall Wetton in center, Sophia Massoud in right, McKenna Calderon behind the dish. The same defensive starters that third-year head coach Don Williams sent out onto the field yesterday, and they will run it back and look to snap a losing streak that has stretched over a span of 42 days. Their last victory, March 13th, in the Dixie State Tournament against Maine. Starting things off for Idaho State and head coach Andrew Rich is Rhiann Lewis. She led off both games yesterday. She'll be followed by Brooke Richards and Angelica Cano as we get set to bring you college softball on ESPN+. Spencer McLaughlin with you this afternoon. It's a lovely windy day. Goodrich is ready. And the first pitch is laced into left center field over the head of Dreamweaver. Lewis motoring for third. The first pitch of the game, a stand-up triple for Rhiann Lewis. Her third, check that, her first 3-bagger of the year. Comes out first pitch swinging and made really solid contact. Weaver was in pretty far out in left field. And so the Idaho State offense that pushed across 6 in game 1, 7 in game 2, picks up where it left off. And they struggled to get to Goodrich early yesterday, but already a runner in scoring position as Brooke Richards, batting second, playing third base this afternoon, takes strike 1. One and one. Lewis down at third. Normally you have to watch her stealing the bases. She was caught yesterday for the first time this season. She had been 18 for 18. But right now she is just looking for a ball in play to bring her home. Corners in for Southern Utah. The pitch to Richards makes the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Peyton Goodrich had 4 strikeouts yesterday, had 5 in her last outing in Portland State a weekend ago. Looking for her first strikeout here and her first out of the inning. Richards does well to lay off. Count runs full. Twice in the first inning yesterday, Goodrich ran the counts full, and they both resulted in strikeouts in what was an excellent start for the Oregon State transfer in the circle. She would love to get an out here against the freshman from Bellevue, Washington, Brooke Richards. The 3-2. Saw plenty of that yesterday. Idaho State did well to fight off tough pitches from Peyton Goodrich. Keemon Winston started game 2. Capri Franzen was excellent in relief both outings yesterday, with Grace Owen unavailable, who is listed as a potential arm out of the bullpen. Thunderbirds starter Peyton Goodrich. Another 3-2. Jam shot. And this is made by Williams. The catch is made and it was recorded, but not the sort of clean communication that Coach Don Williams is looking for, but Sepulveda and Riley Williams able to make it work, and so Angelica Cano steps in with the RBI opportunity. That out there as good as a strikeout, with Lewis still at third after her 3rd triple of the season on the first pitch of the game. Ball 1 to Cano. Her big fly yesterday in the top of the 5th off of Goodrich with 2 outs and 2 strikes tied the game. It was 4-0 Southern Utah after a 4-run bottom of the 4th. That got some help from 3 Idaho State. The Bengals, after leaving 3 runners on in the 3rd and 4th innings combined, connected off the bat of Angelica Cano. She connects with that one but sends it foul and is behind in the count 1-2. That grand slam was her 11th home run of the year, moved her RBI total up to 46, both tops on the team. But that was her only hit yesterday, batting just under .360 this season. She was otherwise hitless in the first game and was 0 for 4 in game 2. Goodrich looking for a strikeout. The pitch. She is hitting that ball hard, but just a little bit out in front. Goodrich, a power pitcher. Cano used that power to her advantage, driving it out just right of center field. And it had plenty of distance on what was a day colder than this one, though it's still a little chilly, but just as windy as the breeze picks up. Another 1-2. This one lofted into right field. Massoud has a beat on it, coming in hard, and it slices away from her foul. That was impacted by the wind. It is blowing almost directly towards first base, angled a little bit at home plate. And Massoud, I think, underestimated how much she was going to have to chase after it, but Goodrich stays alive to keep Idaho State off the board here in the 1st. Cano making it very difficult on her here at the plate. That one misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Southern Utah thought they might have had a punch out. Frankie Tago, the first baseman, waits on deck. Cano struggled yesterday, but has hit safely in 15 of her last 17, accumulating 22 hits over the span. Looking for another one here against Goodrich. Strike 3, and there are 2 gone here in the first. First strikeout of the game for Goodrich on a drop ball that Cano chases out of the zone. And suddenly, Southern Utah is an out away from skirting around a leadoff triple, and it'll be up to Frankie Tago. Fouled off for strike 1. Tago was 0 for 4 in game 1 yesterday, but bounced back with a 3 for 4 showing in game 2 that helped her snap an 0 for 12, factoring in the game 1 performance, hitting .344 this year. Misses low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Goodrich didn't allow a lot of base runners through the first 4 innings yesterday, but she did strand 4 in game 1. Tago, a disciplined eye at the plate. 18 walks this year, tied for first on this Idaho State roster. Here's a 2-1. Now she's ahead 3 balls and 1 strike. Went right back to that drop ball that she struck out Cano on a moment ago. First base is open. Maylee Newman waits on deck. Already 18 pitches here in the first. Goodrich looking for the final out. The 3-1 pitch. On the ground, Boostet, and Peyton Goodrich does a Houdini to get out of that unscathed. To the bottom of the first we go. No score as Idaho State can't capitalize on the leadoff triple, and Boostet ends things in the top of the first.
Oh, I've travelled all over, telling folks they could save by bundling home and car insurance.
PTI, I need the PDF, COB, aka EOD. What's the ETA?
ASAP.
PTI, I need the PDF, COB, aka EOD. What's the ETA?
ASAP.
I'm defeated, feel mistreated. I'm so angry, I'm singing a song. 'Cause I'm paying so much for home internet, and that's just wrong.
I've got T-Mobile home internet. I feel happy.
Great.
Very happy.
Good for you.
Look how much money I'm saving right now.
Wait, really?
There's no hidden fees, no price hikes, one core.
Bro,
Introducing T-Mobile 5G home internet. Just $50 a month. It's that simple.
Phillies, Mets, division rivals aim to make a statement on Sunday Night Baseball.
After using the same batting order for both games yesterday, Dondon Williams makes a bit of a change. Jane Sepulveda leads things off, followed by McCall Wetton and Riley Williams, the first 3 against the junior from Maple Valley in Central Washington transfer Marina Ramirez, the 3rd pitcher that Idaho State has used in this series. Both starters, Haley Rainey and Emma McMurray, threw complete games yesterday. It's the 8th start of the year for Ramirez, and her first pitch is a strike. 3-4 record with a 4.9 ERA and 55 2/3 innings pitched. And she starts things off against Jane Sepulveda, who was 3 for 6 and scored 3 runs yesterday for Southern Utah. And she puts a charge into this one and puts Southern Utah on the board first. The 3rd home run of the year for the freshman from Monterey Park, California. And Southern Utah jumps ahead here in game 3. Got a pitch she could drive, drops the barrel to it. And Ramirez allows her team-leading 11th home run of the year. Not the start she was looking for, but Southern Utah off to a perfect start, and the lineup change from Don Williams, yielding some positive results here through one at-bat, and so we'll see how McCall Wetton can follow that up. She lofts one into right. This stays in the yard, and the play made by Tago for the first out. And the batter is Riley Williams. All right, I apologize. That out actually not recorded, and Wetton hit by a pitch. So it looks like they ruled an illegal pitch on the flyout from Wetton. So instead of an F9, it's an HBP, and she's aboard with no outs. So a rough start here for Ramirez in the circle as she delivers a strike to the Thunderbirds' first baseman. The defense behind her, left to right on the infield. Richards at third, Cano at short, Sethman at second, Frankie Tago at first. And in the outfield, it's Hess, Lewis, and Tago out in right. Quickly 0-2 to Riley Williams. Wind really starting to pick up, making that home run from Sepulveda all the more impressive. Wetton ready to run at first. There she goes. Slicing drive, foul. And Wetton showed the steal, but then decided to back off of it. She has swiped a couple of bags this year, has not yet been caught. But Riley Williams gets to dig in once again. Ramirez looking for her first punch out of the game. Riseball misses up, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bella Hansen doing the catching. She takes the field in front of Casey Coleman behind home plate. Dennis Allen at first, Laren George down at third. Our umpires this afternoon here in Cedar City. And Williams goes around for a strikeout, and that's the first out of the inning. So that brings up Dream Weaver, who has moved up in the lineup today despite not recording a hit yesterday. Was 0 for 7 with an RBI ground out. She fouls off the first pitch. She did not strike out yesterday and hit a couple of balls really hard in game 1. And so Don Williams feeling confident moving her up into the cleanup spot this afternoon. She pops this one up to the same side, out of play. 0-2 the count on the senior from right here in Cedar City. Weaver hitting .224 this year, trying to regain her freshman season form when she burst onto the scene. Hit .372. That was 4th in the Big Sky. Swiped 5 bags that year as well. She's behind in the count 1-2 here and has worked back to even it up. Hits it to almost the exact same spot, just working to stay alive. You can see her trying to go the other way, which is what you want to see as a coach at the plate. There's a discussion happening right now between home plate umpire Casey Coleman, and I believe he was talking to Don Williams, who poked her head out of the dugout. So the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. That's what they were figuring out. Full count pitch. She slices that one to the left side. Diving effort. That's a fair ball. Thunderbirds rounding the bases. Wetton settles in at third. A double for Dream Weaver. And the Thunderbirds, with 1 out, have 2 in scoring position. Well, we saw her trying to go the other way, fouling off all those pitches. And Hess just couldn't quite make the diving attempt. Quickly got it back in to hold the runners there. But now McKenna Calderon, who's due for a base hit after an 0 for 6 showing in 2 games yesterday, has got a couple of ducks on the pond. She shows bunt, gets it down. Wetton coming home. No flip, 2-0 Thunderbirds. Out recorded at first. But a beautifully executed suicide squeeze as that ball put up the first base line. We saw Idaho State try to pull that off yesterday, but it went up the third base line, and Boostet was able to make the toss to Calderon.
Now batting number 21.
So Wetton races home. Thunderbirds with a couple of runs and a chance to add to it here. 2 outs, and Capri Franz in the hitter. Franzen, who has shown the power this year in the series against Montana in the first week of April, hit 3 home runs in the doubleheader on Friday, both losses, but has struggled since then. Hasn't homered since that series. And she had a hit in the 7th inning of Game 2 yesterday that snapped an 0 for 21. But it was her work in the circle that no doubt got her some praise from Don Williams. Here she shows what she can do with the bat, and she drives in a run as Tago scoops it, and it's 3-0 SUU. RBI single Capri Franzen, and Marina Ramirez is trying to get out of this inning in a bad way right now. As Carasoni digs in, the 7th hitter to come to the plate here in the first. Pulls the string but misses for ball 1. Well, Carasoni a chance to keep what has been a somewhat unusual streak alive. In every Big Sky series, this the 5th Southern Utah has played, she's had exactly 1 hit. Was 0 for 7 yesterday, so she could make it 5 for 5 if she picks up exactly 1 hit today. Has been the leadoff hitter for a lot of the season, but has struggled at the plate, batting $181. And that's just uncharacteristic for the Michigan transfer, who had the 5th best average on the team last year, hitting just under 270 in 42 appearances. Carasoni out to center. Lewis has room, and the inning is over. Damage done. Thunderbirds put a trio of runs on the board. RBIs from Franzen, Calderon, and Weaver get it done. We go to the second, 3-0 Southern Utah.
Mom says you made a decision.
Yeah, Idaho State Business School. Well, accounting.
What are you going to do with all that knowledge from ISU?
There's a company I'd like to help grow.
Some startup?
No, this one already has my last name on it.
I won't hold you to it.
You won't have to.
SUU is located within a 5-hour drive of more than 20 national parks and monuments, which is why SUU is trademarked the University of the Parks. SUU's incredible location and connection to the outdoors is ultimately what brought me to campus. My professors are great at teaching us concepts and connecting them to the real world. At SUU, we literally have the world's best backyard. Come see it yourselves.
Jane Sepulveda's leadoff home run, her first since April 2nd against Montana, started things off. The suicide squeeze executed by McKenna Calderon and the RBI single from Capri Franzen have catapulted Southern Utah into the lead, as they did in Game 1 yesterday when they scored the first 4 runs in the game. That didn't come until the 4th, but they get on the board early, and Peyton Goodrich, after working out of a jam in the first, starts off Miley Newman with a strike. Newman, Hess, and Piper Tago, the 3 coming up, trying to get Idaho State on the board. Thunderbirds have lost 17 consecutive games. It's been 42 days since they claimed a victory. Idaho State trying to get above 500. They moved up a slot in the Big Sky Conference standings, up to 5th from the number 6 slot, jumping Montana with a couple of wins here against SUU. Newman falls behind, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The good news, if you're Idaho State, you've been here before. And this time you have much more time than you did yesterday to mount a comeback. They were down 4-0 going into the 5th, came back to win 6-5. Southern Utah got the tying run at 3rd with 2 outs, but couldn't bring her in. Goodrich winds for the 1-2. Out in front, and we'll do it again. Much clearer skies, much warmer weather today. Still in the 40s, wind blowing at about 8 to 10 miles an hour. So it's chillier than it looks, but the blue sky and sunshine warming it up considerably from what was felt yesterday when it was lightly snowing at one point. Newman 1 for 7 yesterday with a run scored, a strikeout, and was hit by a pitch for the 7th time this year. That's second most on this Idaho State team. And she is battling up there at the dish, making Peyton Goodrich work hard for what she hopes will be the first out here in the 2nd inning. Another 2-strike delivery from Goodrich. This one is hit well, out to left. Weaver ranges back and makes the play. And that ball there hit basically directly into the wind. Probably would have stayed in the yard regardless. But that is the direction that is going to be most difficult for players to hit it over the fence. Jane Sepulveda didn't have a problem with that in the first, but that's a testament to how hard she hit that ball. Morgan Hess is the batter. And Goodrich delivers strike 1. Junior on junior here. Goodrich, originally from Hillsboro, Oregon, started her career at Oregon State in Corvallis and makes her way down here to Cedar City. Hess originally from Brentwood, California. And it's the Thunderbird starter who is ahead 0-2. You see she is fired up. That is a hallmark of Peyton Goodrich's game. She plays with plenty of emotion when she is working in the circle. Looking for her 2nd strikeout. Pitch to Hess. Hess picked up a couple of hits yesterday, 1 in each game. She's hit safely in 6 of her last 7. She tripled and scored in the 6th off of Goodrich to give Idaho State the lead. And she's worked her way back into an even count, 2-2. That was her first triple of the year. Pulled it down the right field line. Massoud bobbled it for a moment before getting it back in, and Hess with great speed got into third without a throw. 2-2. And Idaho State making Peyton Goodrich work extremely hard here in this outing. They stranded 3 runners in the first 4 innings against Goodrich. She came out for the 5th, very nearly got out of it before allowing the grand slam to Cano. Slicing drive, foul territory, and it drops into the coffin corner for another foul ball. Goodrich trying to work her on a tough customer in Morgan Hess. Finally gets her down on strikes. 2 gone. So Peyton Goodrich off to another good start here in her 2nd straight day, beginning things for the Southern Utah pitching staff. And she's looking for a 1-2-3 second. She'll have to deal with Piper Tago, Frankie Tago's younger sister. Tago took Kimon Winston deep for a 2-run shot in game 2 for her 4th big fly of the season. En route to a 7-2 Idaho State win in the 2nd game of the doubleheader. That one catches the inside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. Tago picked up a couple extra base hits in game 2 yesterday, doubled off of Kimon Winston in the 2nd before homering in the 4th. And she hits a missile that ropes foul. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. But those 2 hits in the 2nd game yesterday, her first multi-hit performance since March 12th. Back in California when Idaho State traveled to Santa Clara to take on the Broncos. Goodrich looking to get out of the 2nd without allowing a base runner. The pitch. Hit into left. Weaver on the run. Can't make a web gem play in foul territory. And that's where she hit the ball. Made a diving catch yesterday that looked very similar, but she was playing very deep. Tago brought her in, but hit it in foul territory, so it'll be another 2-ball, 2-strike count. Weaver shades about 4 steps over towards the line in left. Seeing the pole potential there of Piper Tago. Count runs full. And Goodrich beans her on the leg, so Tago aboard. 5th time she's been hit by a pitch this year, and that's certainly not what Peyton Goodrich was hoping for with a 2-out, 2-strike count. And that brings up one of the hottest hitters in this Idaho State lineup. You talk about production from the bottom third. Bella Hansen in the midst of a 6-game hitting streak. Homered off of Peyton Goodrich yesterday in game 1. But over the last 6, she is 8 for her last 19. Couple of homers, has driven in 5. A .221 hitter on the year, seeing her average climb quickly with the way she's been swinging the bat. She takes a mighty hack, but whiffs on the drop ball for strike 1. Hansen just 5'2" in the box against the 6-foot Goodrich in the circle. And she hits it just to the side of the circle. Boostet makes the play. 2 scoreless innings for Peyton Goodrich. We go to the home half. Southern Utah up 3-0 on Idaho State.
We love our new apartment.
There's too much pressure in the bathroom.
Good luck with the future in-laws tonight.
Don't overthink it.
But don't underthink it.
At least Geico makes bundling our renters and car insurance easy.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Now more than ever, it's important to support our local economy. That's why when I fly ROA.
At Metro by T-Mobile, you can upgrade your adventure because we're giving you more choices with the largest selection of free 5G phones from brands you love like Samsung. Switch now and save more. Only at Metro.
We're scientists, we're engineers, we dance, but not so well.
Windows 11 makes things easier.
One of the biggest features I use is multiple desktops. I go from being a student to being a gamer.
Being a mentor is one of the biggest dreams we have.
And Windows 11 helps us do it.
Haley Rainey is back in the circle for Idaho State after a short inning of work for Marina Ramirez in which she allowed 3 hits and 3 runs. They go to Rainey, who was fantastic yesterday in the Game 1 win. Her final stat line, 7 innings, 7 hits, allowed 5 runs, only 1 of them earned. And Boostet fouls off the first pitch for strike 1. Boostet, Massoud, and Sepulveda, 8, 9, and 1. Rainey ahead 0-2. She replaces Ramirez, who was coming off of a strong showing Tuesday in the loss to Utah State. Idaho State led that game 8-0 at one point, allowed the Aggies to come back, but Ramirez started that with 3 2/3 scoreless, just did not have it this afternoon. Boostet down on strikes. Hansen, the toss down to Tago for the out. So Rainey, a strong start here in her 26th appearance. And this is the 13th time she's appeared as a non-starter. Through 7 innings yesterday, and what was her 13th complete game. A 3.26 ERA and 126 innings pitched with 129 strikeouts to go with it. The freshman has been a welcome addition to the Bengals roster this year as she hums in strike one to Sophia Massoud. Battle of freshmen here. Massoud from Arlington High School in Riverside, California. She was high school teammates with Southern Utah's backup catcher, Kelly Fielder. Three-time first league, all first team league performer. First team all league performer. There we go. I got it figured out. Now, she and Boostet were quite the 8-9 punch at the bottom of the order in game one. They combined to go 4 for 5 with a walk in 6 plate appearances. She had 2 hits herself. Boostet had 2 in game one. That was her first multi-hit showing since Southern Utah's last win against Maine on March 13th. Ball hit down to Richards. Massoud with good speed, legs it out. Oh, Richards not recognizing the speed of the Thunderbirds right fielder, and Massoud running hard all the way. And she beats it out even with the stretch of Frankie Tago. So that goes down as an infield single, but a play from Brooke Richards that should have been made. She just took an extra crow hop, and that brief moment was all Massoud needed. And now here's Sepulveda, who led the game off with a home run on the second pitch she saw from Marina Ramirez. And the first one she sees here from Rainey is strike one. Out in front on an off-speed pitch for strike two. Sepulveda, who now has the best batting average on this Southern Utah team, hitting .247, launched her 3rd home run of the year to start the game. Behind 0-2, the pitch. She's down on strikes. 2nd K of the inning for Haley Rainey. And she is making Coach Rich's decision look like a wise one here in the early going, as McCall Wetton will attempt to continue the rally. Massoud took an aggressive secondary at first, but was not running. She swiped a couple of bags this year and has been caught once, 2 for 3 in base stealing attempts. Good block by Hansen behind the dish. 2 balls and no strikes. Southern Utah knows they need to continue to add runs any way they can. A team ERA that is last in the Big Sky this year. They've already seen 1 lead dissipate in this series against the Bengals in game 1 yesterday. This one hit over to short. Cano, it eats her up, and the inning continues. Cano, usually a good glove over there at short. That was a pretty straightforward hop. She just kind of got caught in between about how she wanted to play it, but it bounced up to her in a pretty friendly manner, and we'll see if Southern Utah can capitalize as Riley Williams, who struck out her first time up against Marina Ramirez, looks at strike one from Rainey. She was sitting fastball there, but got the off speed, shook her head and said, okay, okay. And now has to dig in down in the count 0-1. Quickly 0-2. Rainey trying to do what Peyton Goodrich has done so far this afternoon, and that is strand Southern Utah base runners as Riley goes down to get a quick chat with her mom, head coach Don Williams. Oh-2 pitch from Rainey to Williams. And she is down looking, second backwards K of the inning. And Rainey gets all 3 outs in her first inning of relief via the strikeout. To the third we go. Still 3-0 Southern Utah.
I've travelled all over, telling folks they could save by bundling home and car insurance. But here's the real secret. Eye contact. We just had a moment.
Geico.
At Metro by T-Mobile, you can upgrade to 5G and save more with 1 line of unlimited 5G for just $40, period. That's the lowest price in prepaid. Switch now and take your movie night to new heights with 5G. Only at Metro.
Well, I prefer to hit the trail and greenways on my bike. When I do fly, I fly ROA.
Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance, because you never know where life is going to take you.
Southern Utah makes a defensive substitution, sends Maddie Sanders down at first, as Don Williams has done several times this year. And she's still got Peyton Goodrich in the circle, who gets 9, 1, and 2. Skylar Sethman leads things off, followed by Rianne Lewis and Brooke Richards. This one lofted in the air to left. Weaver gloves it for the first out. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the third. So all the way through the lineup, and just 2 base runners yielded by Peyton Goodrich. The leadoff triple to the current batter, Rianne Lewis, who was stranded. And the hit by pitch when she plunked Piper Tago last inning, who was also stranded. So Idaho State leaving runners on and trailing 3-0. Southern Utah has lost 17 straight games. And you can see the fight that these girls show every game, looking for that elusive next victory. Just 3-34 this year. Myriad of injuries have really set them back. Lewis runs up and takes ball 2. Goodrich was one of those injuries, tore her ACL at the Big Sky tournament last May. Missed a good chunk of the early portion of the season. She was expected to be the number 2 pitcher along with Madison Lindsay, who is not going to pitch this year and has not yet for Southern Utah. There's a strike, 2-1. And so the Baylor transfer, Madison Lindsay, has not yet pitched for Southern Utah. Goodrich was out for a good chunk of the year, and that left Keemon Winston, Grace Owen, and Capri Franzen to do a lot of pitching that they were not expecting this year, as Lewis delivers a base hit into center field, and the best base stealer in the Big Sky Conference is aboard. Just runs up and slaps it right back up the middle, very nearly hit second base. And so with one out and a runner at first, you have good speed at home and even better speed on the base paths. And Brooke Richards might get an opportunity to play some small ball here. We'll see what Andrew Rich does. She turns around, gets it down. Goodrich throws it away. This could be trouble. Lewis digs for third. She settles in there. Now she's coming home. The throw from Carasoni not in time. And the error from Goodrich sends Brooke Richards all the way to third. Idaho State is on the board and threatening here in the top of the third. Goodrich had plenty of time to make this throw, but with Sepulveda not quite over, it looked like it threw her off a little bit. And so an unearned run comes around to score on the error. Southern Utah has struggled with errors this season, the lowest fielding percentage in the Big Sky by a significant margin. 93.6% their fielding percentage. Nobody else in the conference is below the 96% number. And so the error monster rears its ugly head, and Idaho State is starting the comeback. Angelica Cano is the tying run. And that hit her. So Cano takes first. Second hit batter of the afternoon for Peyton Goodrich. Who, after working through 2 scoreless innings and getting the first out on 1 pitch here in the third, is suddenly seeing things spiral out of control, and that gets her, right on the shin. And pitching coach Lauren Watts is out of the dugout to discuss how they want to handle Frankie Tago and the current situation. Richards down at third, Cano at first, the tying run, and Tago, who has 3 home runs. Her sister Piper took Keemon Winston deep yesterday for her 4th home run of the year. So Frankie sitting here at 3. You wonder if she doesn't have just that little extra motivation to pull even with her younger sister. I have an older brother, and I can tell you anytime I beat him in anything growing up, it bothered him quite a bit. And so Tago, I'm sure that's not the first thing on her mind, but it's got to be in her thoughts somewhere. That her little sister, the freshman's got 4 home runs, and she's got 3. See what Goodrich comes with. Already 47 pitches here in the third. Cano 3 for 3 stealing bases, is down at first. Richards over at third. Anything to the outfield will score Richards. She has got fantastic speed. 1-1. Thunderbirds have just been scrapping and clawing and continuing to fight as they search for what has been an elusive victory during this winning streak. They have had chances, but games have slipped away, trying to not let that happen again. Tago takes the bunt. Cano on the delayed steal goes to second, and Calderon wisely runs Richards back to third. So it's a stolen base for Angelica Cano, and the double play is taken away for the time being. Tago, the go-ahead run, hasn't homered since April 2nd against Weber State. It was up in Pocatello on her home field. 1-2 from Goodrich, way upstairs, 2-2. Tago grounded out to Boosted at third, with Rianne Lewis sitting at third with 2 outs. Trying to atone for that missed opportunity here with 2 in scoring position. Gets away from Calderon. Here comes Richards. She trots home. It's 3-2, and the tying run is at third base. Wild pitch issued to Peyton Goodrich as Calderon, who has been so good this year, keeping balls in front, could not quite handle that one, which was spiked way out in front of home plate. They count 3 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out, and Southern Utah in danger of relinquishing another lead. They were up 4-0 yesterday. Cano's grand slam tied it with 2 outs and 2 strikes in the 5th. Against Montana earlier this month, they were up 9-3, allowed 8 in the 7th. Tago skies it straight over my head. See that red tent? I'm under there somewhere. All bundled up on a mid-40s degree day as the wind continues to blow and make it cooler than it otherwise would be, but still not as frigid as it was yesterday. Payoff pitch. Tago fouls it off her foot. And we saw her sister Piper yesterday foul back-to-back balls off of her left leg on consecutive pitches. To this day, one of the strangest things I've ever seen. It was the exact same spot. Frankie Tago looking to deliver. 3-2. She's aboard. So Sethman flies out to begin the inning. Goodrich allows a single to Rhiann Lewis, commits the throwing error that brings her around to score, and now a hit by pitch and a walk have put the go-ahead run at first, and Miley Newman digs in with the RBI opportunity, has driven in 25 of her teammates this season, and the SU infield going to talk things over. Wanting to make sure they're all on the same page with the signs. Newman did hit into a double play yesterday. Thunderbirds went around the horn. 5-4-3, Boostet, Sepulveda, and it was Williams at first. Sanders is currently the first baseman. And it looks like that's going to be it for Peyton Goodrich. So Keemon Winston is coming in relief of the Thunderbirds starter. Runners at the corners when we come back.
We love our new apartment.
There's too much pressure in the bathroom.
Good luck with the future in-laws tonight.
Don't overthink it.
But don't underthink it.
At least Geico makes bundling our renters and car insurance easy.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
At Metro by T-Mobile, you can upgrade to 5G and save more with 1 line of unlimited 5G for just $40, period. That's the lowest price in prepaid. Switch now and take your movie night to new heights with 5G. Only at Metro.
Now more than ever, it's important to support our local economy. That's why when I fly ROA.
Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance. Because you never know where life is going to take you.
Southern Utah makes a pitching change, and they turn to the freshman Keemon Winston, who is making just her 6th appearance out of the bullpen this year. Took the loss in Game 2 yesterday, was knocked around for 6 earned runs in 3 2/3. The one positive takeaway for the freshman, first time throwing 2 or more innings with no walks since February 20th against Army. She gets Miley Newman as her first hitter and delivers ball 1. Goodrich goes 2 1/3, allows just 2 hits, but hit 2 batters, walked another, had a throwing error, and is responsible for both runners aboard. Cano at third, Tago down at first. And that gets away. Here comes Cano for the plate. There will be no throw, and we are tied. Cano, without ever having a ball put in play, comes around to score, advancing on another wild pitch after stealing second, and she reached after being hit by a pitch. So it's the third run Goodrich is responsible for, one of them unearned on the throwing error. Down to second goes Tago as Keemon Winston is behind in the count. And she hits Newman. That is the third hit batter of the game. Idaho State has 2 aboard, as the Thunderbirds' lead has evaporated once again and still just 1 out here in the top of the third. Morgan Hess steps into the batter's box with a runner at first and second. Strike one. Hess was 2 for 6 in the 2 games yesterday. Had a triple off of Goodrich, scored a couple times and walked a couple times. She gets the bunt down. Winston fields and has no play. Another infield single. Idaho State was prolific in that department yesterday with bunts and hitting it in the right spot, and Sepulveda just wasn't over in time. The left-handed hitting Hess motors down to first. And they're going to call the runners back. Andrew Rich is looking for an explanation right now from Casey Coleman. I don't think he's going to like the one that he's getting, but I think they're saying that she hit that ball while she was out of the box. I wonder if we can get a look at it, but instead of a single and the bases loaded, the count is 0-2 with runners at first and second. Twice yesterday, Idaho State was called out when a ball hit a batter out of the box, but she hit the ball while she was out of the box, and so it goes as a foul ball, the 0-2. And you see that a lot in softball, players running up. Boy, she looked like she was in the box right there. Casey Coleman saw it differently. Hess trying to atone, the 0-2. But twice yesterday, Idaho State was called out with runners who were either slap hitting or drag bunting, as Hess was a moment ago, and the ball hit them while they were out of the box. And Coach Rich, a little frustrated with the calls he's been seeing in that department over the last couple of days. Hess has got the speed, but swings a good bat. Has hit safely in 6 of her last 7. Batting .277 this year and a .340 on base percentage. And you see her trying to go the other way. Dreamweaver had a similar at-bat where she fouled off a bunch of pitches to the left side. Batting from the left side, she ultimately hit one into left field for a single. See if Hess can do the same thing. She hits one up the middle, base hit, Wetton charges, Tago coming home, the throw, the tag, not in time. Down to second goes Hess, it gets away. The Thunderbirds throwing it all over the field, and Idaho State takes their first lead, 5-3. Hits this one right back up the middle. It's a good, strong throw from McCall Wetton. They had a chance. Tago barely gets in there. Then as she goes to second, and the throw from Calderon gets away. And as a result, Newman is able to scamper home to give the Bengals the lead once again. So it's an RBI single for Morgan Hess, her 20th run driven in of the year, and then the E2 by Calderon, her second of the inning. Brings home another run, and Idaho State has pushed 5 across here in the top of the third, still just 1 out. And now Piper Tago gets a chance to hit in Hess at second, who, as we know, has great speed. One error this inning on Peyton Goodrich when she threw it away on the bunt from Richards, and one error from Calderon as Hess took second after the base knock. Both bringing unearned runs across that are currently the difference in the game. And this is just an all too familiar story for Southern Utah to see a lead disappear on their home field. And errors right at the center of it all once again. They had just one error in the second game, but 4 in the first did the Thunderbirds. Has been a persistent problem this season, and Winston is behind of Piper Tago, 1-1. A couple of freshmen go at it. She hits one in the air, carrying back right center field. Wetton makes the play as she hits the ground. Hess gets up and is rounding third. A sacrifice fly with a runner on second. Heads up base running. Gives Idaho State a 6-3 advantage. This ball was hit very well. Wetton ranged over, and when she fell down, she tried to throw it from her back, and Hess, with way too much speed, gets in without a play. And now the 9th batter to the plate here in the third is Bella Hansen. I think the umpires right there were double checking that she tagged up correctly. It looked like she had the wherewithal to go back and make sure that she was on the bag when the ball was caught. And so Bella Hansen hits with 2 outs, nobody aboard, and 6 runs across. Strike 1. Hansen popped out to Boosted at third to end the second, trying to keep a 6-game hitting streak alive. She's behind, no balls and 2 strikes. Winston has the sign, looking to get out of the inning. And Idaho State, pesky as always. They have just been battling and battling with the pitches they have been fighting off. Hits it on the ground. Sepulveda throws to Maddie Sanders. The inning is over, but Idaho State recaptures the lead in the series once again. A 6 spot in the third. They lead 6-3 as we go to the home half in Cedar City.
There are lots of ways we help others every day. Need another? Donate plasma at one of our Grifols centers. Did you know that your blood plasma can be used to make medication? People all over the world rely on them. That's why your plasma donations are needed more than ever. Helping others is an amazing way to spend your time. Donate today and give someone somewhere a full life. Visit grifolsplasma.com to learn more.
Hi, this is Chris Holmes, voice of the Thunderbirds. If you're looking for a new job, join the Chrysalis team and make a difference in the lives of people with disabilities. Chrysalis is looking for people who care and are willing to help others. You can be a mentor, teacher, and friend to those with disabilities or challenges. Get paid to have fun, flexible schedules, competitive pay, and benefits. Join Chrysalis in Cedar City and get paid to make a difference. Apply online at chrysalis.care. That's chrysalis.care.
Idaho State puts up a crooked number in the top of the third to jump in front of Southern Utah, who scored 3 in the bottom of the first. Dreamweaver was a part of that. She doubled and scored on the RBI sac bunt on a suicide squeeze play by McKenna Calderon. She digs in for her first at-bat this afternoon against Haley Rainey, who gets her to swing and miss for strike one. She was 0 for 4 in game 1 against Rainey yesterday, but hit the ball hard a couple of times. But weak contact there moves the count to 0-2. Weaver, Calderon, and Franzen, 4, 5, and 6 for Southern Utah as they try to snap the losing streak that has gone on for what seems like forever. 17 straight losses, 42 days since their last win. It was March 13th against Maine down in St. George at the Dixie State Tournament. They've had chances, but leads have just gone away as it has today. Haley Rainey was sharp in her first inning of relief. Allowed a hit to Sophia Massoud. Wetton reached on an error, but she struck out the other 3 batters that she faced. Almost strikes out Weaver there, who just gets it off the knob of the bat to stay alive at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Weaver, 224 hitter this year, 341 on base, does not yet have a home run. Does have a couple of doubles. And she hits that one hard into right field. A pair of hits for Dreamweaver, her first multi-hit outing since March 11th against Maine. And so her move up to gets a pitch she can drive and ropes it into right field. So McKenna Calderon, batting .207 this year, was 0 for 6 yesterday. Slices that one into foul territory, 0-1. She executed the suicide squeeze perfectly to score Weaver back in the first, the third and final run of the inning for the T-Birds. Laid it down on the first base line. And Weaver with good speed scored without a throw. Calderon behind 0-2 against the freshman Haley Rainey. It always helps when you can get significant contributions from a freshman, but Idaho State has gotten that and then some from Haley Rainey. As she hits Calderon on the arm on an 0-2 pitch. Or are they going to say this was a foul ball? It looks like it was a foul ball and that it hit off the bat. And Calderon agreeing with the decision of home plate umpire Casey Coleman, knowing it hit off the knob. Hard to tell at that angle, but when a ball's coming in that hot, if it hits you on the arm or hand, you're going to react differently. And she did not even flinch, so she knew it. Count remains 0-2 against the freshman Rainey, who has the most innings pitched on this Idaho State staff. And she bounces one wildly as Weaver heads on down to second. So a wild pitch puts a runner in scoring position. That's just the 16th wild pitch of the year for the freshman Rainey in this her 128th inning of work. Looking for another strikeout, the 1-2, and that gets away as well. And so quickly Weaver is down at third, and it's deja vu for the Thunderbirds as Weaver is 60 feet from home. Calderon is the hitter, though with 2 strikes you would imagine that she is not going to be putting on the suicide squeeze, Don Williams that is, but hoping her catcher can drive in another run. 2-2 from Rainey, and that'll work. So a 2 RBI day for McKenna Calderon. And Southern Utah's offense getting back on the board. And it's a 2-run margin. Capri Franzen comes to the plate as the tying run. Now batting number 21, Capri Franzen. So a couple wild pitches cost Rainey. And now Capri Franzen, who leads the team with 3 home runs this year, steps in as the tying run. Still nobody out here in the third. And she was trying to tie it there. Rainey gets her to swing and miss at a pitch in the dirt, 0-1. And she gets jammed hard. This might be a tough play. Ball still spinning. Sethman the throw, and it's in time. Calderon advances down to second, and a tough play there from Skylar Sethman. Ball dropped right in the Bermuda Triangle between the first and second baseman and the pitcher Rainey, and the quick transfer results in the putout. And so with 1 out and a runner in scoring position, Gianna Carasoni, who is trying to get back to her form that she showed a season ago, hitting just under 270, under a $180 this season. An RBI opportunity. Aggressive secondary from Calderon as Rainey delivers ball 1. Carasoni has hit leadoff for most of the year when she's been healthy, but moved down to 7th this afternoon by Don Williams after going 0 for 7 with a couple of strikeouts yesterday. Hits this one on the ground. Sethman makes another play. Calderon down to third, and with 2 outs, it'll be up to Amaya Boustet. little bit of a jam shot as this one took a friendly hop over to Sethman, who calmly flipped it over to Frankie Tago. Idaho State at the beginning of this inning made a defensive substitution. Kaylee Butterworth is out in right field in favor of Piper Tago. And Amaya Boostet, who had a base hit to right field yesterday, steps in, pops it up, playable. Frankie Tago ends the inning. Thunderbirds push a run across and pull within 2 as we head to the 4th.
I'm defeated, feel mistreated. I'm so angry, I'm singing a song. 'Cause I'm paying so much for home internet, and that's just wrong.
I've got T-Mobile home internet. I feel happy.
Great.
Very happy.
Good for you.
Look how much money I'm saving right now.
Wait, really?
There's no hidden fees, no price hikes, one cord.
Introducing T-Mobile 5G home internet. Just $50 a month. It's that simple.
Well, I prefer to hit the trail and greenways on my bike. When I do fly, I fly ROA.
One app, one tap, so stacked. A whole lot of everything. Now that's facts. Scores and stats make you wanna get that. It's only for everything. The ESPN app. Scores and stats make you wanna get that. It's only for everything. The ESPN app.
9-1-2 coming up for Idaho State. We'll see if they can respond to the run that Southern Utah was able to scratch across in the bottom of the 3rd. 6-4 our score. Spencer McLaughlin with you from Catherineburg Field on the campus of Southern Utah University. Beautiful day for softball. Colder than it looks. The wind remains persistent, but runs have still been plentiful here this afternoon. Sethman fouls it off. Sethman, Lewis, and Richards due up for Idaho State here in the top of inning number 4. Keemon Winston works ahead 0-2. So far, Idaho State 6 runs on just 3 hits and a couple of Southern Utah errors. They've left 3 runners on the base paths as well. That one just misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Southern Utah scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 1st to jump out to a 3-0 lead. Idaho State 6 runs last inning. As this one is hit high and fairly deep, but staying in the ballpark. Massoud makes the play for the first out. Lineup flips over for the 3rd time, and Rianne Lewis, who is slowly working her way towards the cycle this afternoon. A triple to lead off the game on the first pitch from Peyton Goodrich in the top of the 1st. And she singled in the 3rd off of Goodrich as well. Now gets her first look here on this Sunday afternoon against Keemon Winston. Six runs this afternoon for Idaho State. Just 3 of them earned thanks to the errors that reared their ugly head once again for SUU. Boostet, the stab, the throw, and we avoid a collision with an out recorded. Maddie Sanders did a little dipsy-do over there to avoid Rianne Lewis, who was hustling. Heck of a throw from Boostet. Everybody's okay, and there's 2 down. So if Winston can retire Brooke Richards, it'll be a 1-2-3-4 for a Southern Utah team that is trying to keep Idaho State off the scoreboard as best they can, and the offense, which has been producing today up and down the lineup. They've still got time to come back and get their first win in over a calendar month's worth of days. And the wind has now completely died down as the American flag lies right up and down the pole out in center. That is the first time it's been that way here this afternoon and this weekend. First time Winston has been behind 3-0 as well. And she's aboard on 4 pitches. That has been the real bugaboo for the Southern Utah pitching staff this afternoon. Winston hit the first batter that she faced. Goodrich pegged a couple and walked one, and now Winston issues a 2-out free pass for the hitter that is arguably the most dangerous in this Idaho State lineup, Angelica Cano. Thunderbirds have done a remarkably good job for all the pitching struggles of keeping her in check. 1 for 7 yesterday. Did have the big grand slam in the 5th as Don Williams comes out to talk with Casey Coleman, the home plate umpire. Might be making a defensive substitution here. And it looks like she might be going to a pitching change once again. Capri Franzen has walked out of the bullpen, and that's going to be it for Kimon Winston. Capri Franzen takes the circle when we come back.
Meet Renee, bank manager and mother. But when she gets on her bike, she becomes Rebel Renee. Rebel Renee isn't about greasing some palms to get things done. And she rides with Geico because she'd never rebel against great service. Geico, savings and service for both your sides.
At Metro by T-Mobile, you can upgrade to 5G and save more with 1 line of unlimited 5G for just $40, period. That's the lowest price in prepaid. Switch now and take your movie night to new heights with 5G. Only at Metro.
Well, I prefer to hit the trail and greenways on my bike. When I do fly, I fly ROA.
Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance. Because you never know where life is going to take you.
Don Williams turns to Capri Franzen, who in 2 relief appearances yesterday was superb out of the pen. A combined 5 1/3, 7 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. She allowed 1 run in 2 innings in the first game and 1 in 3 1/3 in game 2. Did all that she could to keep the Thunderbirds in it, but they just weren't quite able to emerge victoriously. But this her 18th appearance, a 12.44 ERA in 39 2/3 innings pitched, but has been much stronger than that as of late. It was Franzen in the circle who threw a complete game, 4-hit, 2-run outing for Southern Utah's last win on March 13th against Maine 42 days ago. And she gets a tough batter to start. 2 outs, 1 aboard, and Angelica Cano is the hitter. Starts her with an off-speed for strike 1. At the knees for an 0-2 count. Check that 1-2. Winston had thrown one ball before she was pulled. Going an inning and a third, she's responsible for Richards down at first. Franzen trying to retire Cano once again. The 1-2 pitch. Off speed, and it's right back to her. Franzen does her job, and the score remains 6-4. Thunderbird offense trying to come back into the game. The defense doing their part here in the middle innings. Back in Cedar City with more college.
I've travelled all over, telling folks they could save by bundling home and car insurance. But here's the real secret. Eye contact. We just had a moment.
Geico.
At Metro by T-Mobile, you can upgrade your adventure because we're giving you more choices with the largest selection of free 5G phones from brands you love like Samsung. Switch now and save more. Only at Metro.
We love it when people visit us from out of town.
But when we fly ROA.
Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance. Because you never know where life is going to take you.
Southern Utah keeps Idaho State off the scoreboard in the fourth. And so they'll send Massoud, Sepulveda, and Wetton to the plate to try and get back into this one. Haley Rainey back out in the circle for her third inning of relief work of starter Marina Ramirez, who allowed all three Thunderbird runs in the bottom of the first, beginning with a leadoff homer to Jane Sepulveda. She then hit McCall Wetton, thought she had a flyout, but an illegal pitch was ruled. She came around to score on the suicide squeeze executed by Calderon, and then Weaver scored on the RBI single from Capri Franzen. Rainey allowed a run after Weaver led off with a single in the third, and now the offense gets another crack at the freshman standout, who is ahead of Sophia Massoud, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Massoud yesterday, 2 for 4, a walk and a couple of strikeouts, trying to avoid a K here, and she does, at least for the time being, as the count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. The wind has picked back up after dying down momentarily, blowing straight across the field towards first base. 2-2. That was not even close. Payoff pitch from one freshman to another. Another 3-2. And there have been a lot of long at-bats in this weekend series between these two Big Sky foes. Both games yesterday were played in the regulation 7 innings, and both over 2.5 hours. Because of at-bats like this one. Massoud works the walk. Leadoff hitter aboard. And the first free pass issued by Haley Rainey flips the lineup over. And Jane Sepulveda, who already has 1 home run in this game, that was off of Marina Ramirez, digs in as the tying run. She shows bunt. Massoud takes off for second as the ball gets away from Hansen. That'll go down as a pass ball. And they say that Sepulveda offered at the pitch, so it's no balls and 1 strike with a runner now in scoring position. Southern Utah honored 4 seniors after Game 2 yesterday. Dreamweaver, Riley Williams, Gianna Carasoni, and McCall Wetton. Sepulveda will have her time, but the freshman has a bright future ahead of her here in Cedar City. Misses the bunt again. And the count is 1-2. Surprising that Don Williams wants to have her leadoff hitter bunt. You understand the strategy, but 247 her average this year, best on the team, and she's hit the ball well in this series. And she has normally been the number 2 hole hitter, but Coach Williams bumped Carasoni down in the order, moved Sepulveda up. She had 3 hits in 2 games yesterday after just 2 base knocks in her previous 6 games. But has been a steady presence for the Thunderbirds offense. Lays off to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still nobody out here in the 4th. Southern Utah trying to avoid the sweep after dropping both contests yesterday at Idaho State, 6-5 and 7-2 the final scores. Sepulveda, a chopper over to Cano, rifles across for the first out. Massoud stays put. A friendly hop here for Angelica Cano, and she shows the strong arm throwing across to Tago, and so McCall Wetton steps up with Massoud still standing down at second. Strike 1, pulling the string is Haley Rainey right there. Swing and miss through some high heat on a rise ball. No balls and 2 strikes to the senior from Las Vegas. Product of Palo Verde High School, 2-time first-team All-State performer, lettered in volleyball in high school as well. Hit .262 a season ago with 10 home runs, 27 RBI. She scored 36 runs and stole 5 bases. That was the most on the team for swiping a bag. 1-2 coming from Haley Rainey. Just a lot of long at-bats this weekend. It hasn't just been discipline hitting from both teams, but it's been gritty, tough at-bats where they're just fighting to stay alive, getting a piece of a potential strikeout pitch anytime they can. Rainey looking to get the best of her here, and she lays off. It's a great take there from McCall Wetton to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. skies this one left side out of play. Now there's a foul ball table here at Catherineburg Field, and whoever's been working it this weekend has been busy, busy, busy. A lot of balls hit out of play. Most of them with 2 strikes. Here's another 2-strike delivery. Misses and the count runs full. Idaho State wanted the call from home plate umpire Casey Coleman. Instead, Haley Rainey will have to fire again. And what has become quite the battle between Wetton and Rainey. Freshman in the circle, senior in the box. The 3-2 pitch. Fouled off again. Over 10 pitches now in this at-bat. And it just gets so frustrating for you as a pitcher. You think you've made a couple of good ones, and the batter just keeps spoiling them time and again. That's up high for ball 4. How about that at-bat from McCall Wetton? Second walk for Haley Rainey, both of them in this inning. And so Riley Williams, who struck out swinging in the first and looking in the second, will look to put it in play with 2 aboard, representing the go-ahead run. And Don Williams making sure that Riley Williams is reinserted into the lineup after Maddie Sanders took her place defensively. A couple home runs this year, was 3 for 7 in 2 games yesterday, including a triple. Looks at ball 1. Williams started her career at Augusta State, went up to another Big Sky school in Montana, and then came down here to Cedar City when her mom got the job with the Thunderbirds. Strike 1. If Idaho State can preserve the lead, Rainey would be in line for her team-leading 13th victory of the year. Williams on the ground. Richards can't quite go around the horn. And she fields this one cleanly. They get one out at second, but Williams with just enough speed to get down the line. So a 5-4 fielder's choice records the second out of the inning, and Dreamweaver, who has not been retired yet in this game, a double and a run scored in the first, a single and a run scored in the third, hits here, and Andrew Rich wants to talk it over with his freshman pitcher. Idaho State, coming into this weekend series, they played just 1 game in their previous 12 days. Showed a little bit of rust at the plate yesterday, but they have since figured it out in a big way. Putting up 4 in the 5th yesterday of game 1, 2 in the 2nd, en route to a 6-5 win. And then they scored 7 in game 2, another 6 through 4 innings here in game number 3. And Haley Rainey trying to make sure that those 6 runs will be enough. Weaver doubled off of Ramirez and singled off of Haley Rainey this afternoon. The 3rd straight senior in the lineup for today's batting order for the T-Birds. She takes a big rip for strike 1. Williams down at first. And Massoud, the runner, at third. 2 out, 6-4 ball game here in the bottom of the fourth. The 0-1. And the wind really starting to pick up, going almost directly at the batter. And it is dropping the temperature as well. 1-1 from Haley Rainey. And she serves this to the left side and through for a base hit. Dreamweaver is 3 for 3, and the Thunderbirds are within a run as the tying run moves down to second base. A nice piece of hitting as she doesn't try to do too much, just goes with the pitch. And she has collected another RBI, just her 6th of the year. But Coach Williams showed some faith, moving her up to the cleanup spot after 0 for 7 in 2 games yesterday. And she has delivered in a big way. And here's McKenna Calderon, who looks at ball 1. Calderon hitting over 300 in conference play this year. Has got a couple RBIs today. The suicide squeeze and the RBI single in the 3rd. Rainey gets back into the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. Good rip through that one, and it's 1-2. Thunderbirds have left runners on the base paths in every inning so far. The good news is they've been able to put runs up on the scoreboard. Williams at second, Weaver at first. Calderon trying to tie it or give her team the lead. The 1-2 from Rainey. Swing and a miss, bounces in the dirt. Hanson a toss down. We've got a 1-run ball game once again as the Thunderbirds leave a couple on. 6-5 as we go to the 5th from Catherine Berg Field on the campus of Southern Utah University when we come back.
Communities are built
one connection at a time.
Lives are changed
one moment at a time.
At TDS, we believe in the power of people. We believe in the power of community.
We believe in the power of connection.
So far, over 1,000 employees
have given over 16,000 hours of time
to over 1,000 organizations.
And we're just getting started.
Because we believe
the power of doing good together
powers better tomorrows for us all.
Hi, this is Chris Holmes, voice of the Thunderbirds. If you're looking for a new job, join the Chrysalis team and make a difference in the lives of people with disabilities. Chrysalis is looking for people who care and are willing to help others. You can be a mentor, teacher, and friend to those with disabilities or challenges. Get paid to have fun, flexible schedules, competitive pay, and benefits. Join Chrysalis in Cedar City and get paid to make a difference. Apply online at chrysalis.care. That's chrysalis.care.
At SUU, there is a personalized student-first approach from professors to staff to other students.
The T-Bird experience is active, engaging, hands-on, and truly embodies the SUU motto that learning lives forever.
College at SUU is so much more than simply going to class and coming home to do homework.
Students and faculty at SUU prioritize cooperation and collaboration rather than competition.
You matter here and have a voice at SUU.
Thunderbirds within 1 run, and now they'll hope Capri Franzen can replicate her success from yesterday when she allowed just 2 runs in 5 1/3 innings of relief in the 2 games here at Catherine Berg Field. She'll get 4, 5, and 6. Tago, Newman, and Hess coming up for Idaho State, trying to get some insurance runs as they go for the series sweep. Franzen, the 3rd pitcher here on this Sunday afternoon, used by Don Williams and pitching coach Lauren Watts. Tago indecisive, fouls that off. Goodrich went 2 1/3, around 4 runs, 2 of them earned. Errors in the 3rd inning plagued this Thunderbirds team, as they have done so, unfortunately, on more than one occasion. Keemon Winston threw an inning and a third, allowed 2 runs, 1 of them earned. All 6 Idaho State runs came back in the top of inning number 3. Franzen behind of Frankie Tago, 3-1. Tago just 3 home runs this year, but has driven in 31 runs in 42 games. Hitting .345 this season for the Bengals. She's aboard with a walk. Second straight plate appearance that she's drawn a base on balls. And so Miley Newman will come up with a runner on and nobody out here in the 5th. And a special pinch runner coming out, Amber Areola, who did so in each game yesterday, makes it 3 for 3 running for Frankie Tago, and so she'll head down to put some speed on the bases. And Miley Newman is out of the game, and Kaylee Butterworth steps in. She's moved out to right field. Snap throw back down, and Areola is back in time. Butterworth was 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout in game 1 yesterday. Did not appear in game 2 except as a pinch runner. Hasn't had a hit since March 26th against Sacramento State. And that one ruled a strike, 1-1. So Idaho State trying to manufacture a run here as they send Newman to the bench and opt for speed and small ball. Shows it again, can't get it down, and it's 1-2. So Butterworth, who in 34 appearances this year is hitting .243, all of her hits have been singles. We'll get a chance to swing the bat. Behind in the count, 1-2 to Capri Franzen. Struck her out looking, 1 gone. Morgan Hess looks at ball 1 from Capri Franzen. Areola still down at first. She has often been used as a pinch runner this year, has scored 4 times despite not having a hit, but she is yet to steal a base. And Andrew Rich giving some words of wisdom to his junior from Heritage High School in Brentwood, California. She had an RBI single back in that 6-run 3rd inning. She also scored the final run of that inning on the sacrifice fly RBI by Piper Tago that scored her all the way from second, as McCall Wetton, covering a lot of ground, ranged over to right center, fell down on the warning track, and Hess, with great speed, was able to score from second base, tagging up on the play. One and one. upstairs for ball 2. Franzen trying to keep Southern Utah within striking distance here as they look to end a 17-game losing streak. Also trying to avoid being swept for what would be the 5th consecutive series and the 3rd straight series here at home. The only 3 series that they get here at Catherine-Berg Field in 2022. Franzen's 3-1. Misses down low, and it's a couple of walks that have put a runner back in scoring position for Idaho State. Piper Tago, the hitter, and pitching coach Lauren Watts is out of the dugout to talk with Capri Franzen. And Coach Watts right now just wanted to make sure that Franzen and her catcher McKenna Calderon on the same page and discuss the approach that they want to attack these hitters with. Bottom 3rd coming up with 1 out here in the 5th. Piper Tago, Bella Hansen, and if either of them can reach base or avoid a double play, Skylar Sethman is waiting in the wings as well. It was Tago's big fly yesterday off of Keemon Winston that propelled Idaho State out to a 7-0 lead. She was a big part of that rally. Good block by Calderon as the runners think about it and then go back. You've got Areola at second, Hess at first. Tremendous speed on the base paths for Coach Rich and the Bengals. Tago, a shot down to 3rd. Boostet knocks it down, can't make the play. Bases loaded with 1 out.
Says you made a decision.
Yeah.
And this ball is hit hard. Boostet looks like she had a chance to make the play. Well, that glove might have touched Areola, but she wasn't able to hold on to the ball. And so the bases are loaded. And that play officially goes down as an E5. Franzen quickly works ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. Bella Hansen, 4 home runs this year, does not have a grand slam this season. Was 2 for 7 yesterday, scored a couple runs, the big fly, and 3 runs driven in. She's got 3 runners on the bases, but an 0-2 count. The pitch from Franzen. Swing and a missed foul tip into the glove of Calderon for strike 3. That's the 2nd out of the inning. A big out recorded there by Capri Franzen as she just challenged Bella Hansen up top with the heat, and she cut right underneath it. So it's up to Skylar Sethman. That ball bounces way in there, and Franzen yesterday, and that's going to be a balk, and all the runners will move up. Or did they say that hit her? I think that might have got her on the bounce, is the call from Casey Coleman. So Idaho State pads the lead. Let's see on the replay here. That must have grazed her leg, and they say it did. So Rianne Lewis hits. So the leadoff hitter is up with the bases loaded, 2 outs, 7-5 lead. Grounder right back to Franzen, and she gets out of it. Idaho State answers the Southern Utah run. The lead is back to 2 as we go to the home half of the 5th.
Lucky for me, there's some great golf here in the Carolinas. Whether you golf or not, Geico could help you score some great savings on car insurance. Whoa! Oh, hole in one.
Geico. See all the ways you could save.
I'm defeated, feel mistreated. I'm so angry, I'm singing a song. 'Cause I'm paying so much for home internet, and that's just wrong.
I've got T-Mobile home internet. I feel happy. Great. Very happy.
Good for you.
Look how much money I'm saving right now.
Wait, really?
There's no hidden fees, no price hikes, one cord.
Bro,
Introducing T-Mobile 5G home internet. Just $50 a month. It's that simple.
We love it when people visit us from out of town.
But when we fly our way.
Capri Franzen will try and help out her own cause as she digs in. Franzen, Carasoni, and Boostet, 6, 7, 8, upcoming for the Thunderbirds, who trail 7-5 after nearly getting out of a bases-loaded jam unscathed. But Franzen bounced a pitch in that barely hit the leg of the number 9 hitter, Skylar Sethman. And so after Southern Utah scored one in the bottom of the 4th, Idaho State answers, and now they still have the 2-run lead. Spencer McLaughlin with you on a lovely and chilly Sunday afternoon, as that one hit hard to Angelica Cano, who makes the play. 1 pitch, 1 out. Franzen retired, and that'll bring up the Thunderbird shortstop, Gianna Carasoni. To give you an idea of how hard that ball was hit, it is not every day in college softball that you have time to take 2 crow hops and still get a runner out by a couple steps, but Cano was able to do just that as Carasoni fouls off the first pitch from Haley Rainey here. Her 4th inning of relief of the starter, Marina Ramirez, who allowed 3 Thunderbird runs in the first. And Coach Rich went to the bullpen early and went right back to the cookie jar that has been Haley Rainey this season. Freshman leads her team in innings pitched, strikeouts, wins. If Idaho State can hold on for the series sweep here, Rainey would pick up her 13th victory of the year, having just a phenomenal freshman campaign. Carasoni rips one down the line, and that is a foul ball. Count moves to 1-2. Rainey looking for the punch out. Instead, she gets a grounder to the left side. That's off the glove of Richards and into left field for a base hit. So Carasoni is aboard. Cano would have had a chance to play that ball deep in the hole, That goes down as a single. I don't think they were going to be able to get the Thunderbirds speedy shortstop anyway.
Now batting for 33, Amaya Bootstead.
And as it sits right now, in one of the strangest stats you might see, Carasoni has exactly one hit in every Big Sky series this season. This is the 5th one Thunderbirds have played. She's had exactly one hit every weekend. And unless she comes to hit again in this game, she will end this series with exactly one hit after going 0 for 7 with a couple of strikeouts yesterday. Right now, she's hoping she gets to touch home. Amaya Boostet will try to drive her in. And she evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Boostet just a 167 hitter on the year, but had a couple of hits in game 1 yesterday. That was her first multi-hit performance since February 19th against Cal State Northridge. She falls behind of Haley Rainey, 1 ball and 2 strikes. One, 2, up high. Another 2-strike pitch from Rainey, down on strikes. Runner goes, the throw down, in time. Strike him out, throw him out, double play. And that retires the side. Or does it Boostet? Boostet was not tagged out at first, but because she went back to the dugout, I think they're saying she gave herself up. And so Carasoni caught stealing, Hansen the strike, and just like that, the Thunderbirds go empty in the 5th. To the 6th we go, still 7-5, Idaho State.
We love our new apartment.
There's too much pressure in the bathroom.
Good luck with the future in-laws tonight.
Don't overthink it.
But don't underthink it.
At least Geico makes bundling our renters and car insurance easy. Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
I'm defeated, feel mistreated. I'm so angry, I'm singing a song. 'Cause I'm paying so much for home internet, and that's just wrong.
I've got T-Mobile home internet. I feel happy.
Great.
Very happy.
Good for you.
Look how much money I'm saving right now.
Wait, really?
There's no hidden fees, no price hikes, one cord.
Bro,
Introducing T-Mobile 5G home internet. Just $50 a month. It's that simple.
Well, I prefer to hit the trail and greenways on my bike. When I do fly, I fly ROA.
Well, the old strikeout 2-6 double play gets Idaho State out of the 6th unscathed, and so, or out of the 5th unscathed, excuse me, and we go to the 6th, 2, 3, and 4 upcoming for the Bengals. Richards, Cano, and Frankie Tago will hit against Capri Franzen, working in yet another inning of relief here in this series. Delivers ball 1. Franzen 5 1/3 in 2 games yesterday. Allowed 1 run in each stint. Was simply sensational as a long reliever for Don Williams and the Thunderbirds pitching staff. She is the only Thunderbird who really will pitch and hit. She's been a regular designated player in the lineup, as she is once again. But she has been making regular appearances in the circle, and she has been effective. She's delivered 3 straight balls to Brooke Richards, who is 0 for 2 with a walk, reached on an error by Peyton Goodrich and scored on a wild pitch back in the 3rd, part of a 6-run 3rd inning. And she looks at strike 1, taking all the way. Three for 6 with a couple runs scored and a walk yesterday. She's ahead 3-1. And she's aboard. Second straight inning that Franzen has issued a leadoff walk, which have been a struggle for her this year. Coming into today, 39 2/3 innings, 57 walks to just 33 strikeouts. She's walked more batters than she's allowed earned runs. And now Angelica Cano bats. And Don Williams out of the Southern Utah dugout to talk with Casey Coleman, the home plate umpire, and make a defensive substitution. And it is going to be another pitching change. Franzen's day is done, and the 4th pitcher for the Thunderbirds this afternoon will be Grace Owen when we come back.
Meet Renee, bank manager and mother. But when she gets on her bike, she becomes Rebel Renee. Rebel Renee isn't about greasing some palms to get things done. And she rides with Geico because she'd never rebel against great service. Geico, savings and service for both your sides.
Metro by T-Mobile, you can upgrade your adventure because we're giving you more choices with the largest selection of free 5G phones from brands you love like Samsung. Switch now and save more. Only at Metro.
Now more than ever, it's important to support our local economy. That's why when I fly ROA.
Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance, because you never know where life is going to take you.
Don Williams throwing the kitchen sink at Idaho State as Grace Owen becomes the 4th pitcher to take the circle this afternoon. And that is all the available pitchers Southern Utah has on their staff because of the injury to Madison Lindsay. So Grace Owen takes over for the first time in this series. Last time out was a weekend ago at Portland State. She gave up an earned run in 1 inning of work, but threw 3 total innings over the weekend and allowed just that 1 run. 1-3 record. This is her 28th appearance. 51 1/3, 9.82 ERA. Don Williams has described her as the team's closer and a junk ball pitcher who will change the speed and timing of the hitters at the plate. Right now she's trying to find the strike zone, and she finally does. Angelica Cano, the batter, with Richards down at first. 1 1/3 for Capri Franzen. She does not allow a hit. And Richards thought that was ball 4. She dives back to first and is in safely. But that was ball 3. She thought it was 4. And the Thunderbirds very nearly had her drilled down in a pickle. But 1 1/3 for Franzen. No hits. Did allow the run. Couple walks, couple strikeouts, and is responsible for Richards down at first. She does not go, and that is ball 4. So after pulling Capri Franzen after a walk, not what Don Williams had in mind, when she inserted Grace Owen, then it would be a leadoff walk, and now 2 aboard with nobody out, and Frankie Tago steps up with an RBI opportunity. Down low for ball 1. Good speed on the bases with Cano at first, and the lightning quick Richards down at second. Tago looking for a pitch she can drive. Takes that one for a strike, 1-1. Wind starting to pick up once again, blowing across the field right towards first base. Has been hurting the hitters all weekend. That one bounces in, runners go. Richards flies down to first with a clean slide, and Cano calmly takes second. That'll go down as a wild pitch. Trying to get Tago to chase, and it's a pretty good block from Calderon, but a better read from Richards. As Tago fouls that one out of play right over our TV production truck. So 2 in scoring position with nobody out for Frankie Tago. Lays off the off-speed pitch, and the count runs full. First base is open, so if you're Grace Owen here, I'd deliver something out of the zone. 3-2. This one popped up right over my head, and it is going into and just over the bullpen in the hitting cage. Owen looking for the strikeout. Pitch to Tago. Swing and a miss. 1 out. Looked like she was sitting off speed. Instead, swings late on the heater. And Miley Newman is being reinserted into the game for Kaylee Butterfield. So she will bat for the 3rd time this afternoon. Was hit by a pitch back in the 3rd, part of that 6-run inning for Idaho State, and scored on a throwing error by the catcher McKenna Calderon. Grace Owen delivers strike 1. One basically rolls into the catcher. Here she comes for the plate, the dive. Calderon makes the tag and cuts down a runner at the plate. The speedy Brooke Richards thought she could make it. Calderon had other ideas. Andrew Rich disagreed and thought that she got her hand in there. It was certainly close, but Casey Coleman on top of it for the 2nd out of the inning. And suddenly, after 2nd and 3rd with no outs, Southern Utah is 1 out away from getting out of the 6th unscathed. 2 balls and 1 strike to Miley Newman, who a moment ago would have just had to put the ball in play. Instead now needs a base hit. Good block from Calderon, 3-1. Newman just 1 for 9 this weekend. Hit too hard, Massoud makes the play, and the score remains 7-5. To the bottom of the 6th we go. Miley Newman gave it a charge, but Massoud, right place, right time. 2-run game as we wind down here in Cedar City.
There are lots of ways we help others every day. Need another? Donate plasma at one of our Grifols centers. Did you know that your blood plasma can be used to make medication? People all over the world rely on them. That's why your plasma donations are needed more than ever. Helping others is an amazing way to spend your time. Donate today and give someone somewhere a full life. Visit grifolsplasma.com to learn more.
Hi, this is Chris Holmes, voice of the Thunderbirds. If you're looking for a new job, join the Chrysalis team and make a difference in the lives of people with disabilities. Chrysalis is looking for people who care and are willing to help others. You can be a mentor, teacher, and friend to those with disabilities or challenges. Get paid to have fun, flexible schedules, competitive pay, and benefits. Join Chrysalis in Cedar City and get paid to make a difference. Apply online at chrysalis.care. That's chrysalis.care.
Losers of 17 consecutive games, Southern Utah just keeps fighting in this 2022 season, looking to break that streak. Second and third with no outs in the top half, and Grace Owen works her way out of a jam to keep it at a 2-run affair. And now they bring up 9-1 and 2 as Massoud hits one hard, but right to Sethman, who makes the play. 1 pitch, 1 out. She gets really solid contact on this ball. Most of the time, that's going to find a hole. Don't have the advanced analytics in front of me, but I imagine the expected batting average on a ball hit that hard is pretty darn high. Sepulveda slices one foul into the fence of the bullpen for strike 1. McCall Wetton waits on deck. Thunderbirds scored 3 in the first. Sepulveda started it off on the second pitch she saw from starter Marina Ramirez with her 3rd home run of the year. They pushed across a run in the 3rd and in the 4th, and they are within a couple here in the bottom of the 6th. Haley Rainey out for her 5th inning of relief duty, and that one finds a hole, hit about at the same velocity as Massoud's, and now the tying run comes to the plate in the form of McCall Wetton's 2nd hit of the day for Sepulveda. She has hit 2nd most of the year, but put in the leadoff slot for the series finale this afternoon, and Don Williams has been rewarded for that decision. Couple of hits for the freshman. And now she turns to the experience part of the lineup. First of 3 straight seniors to bat this afternoon. At this juncture in the batting order, McCall Wetton, no home runs this year. She did hit 10 a season ago, and she's hit on the shoulder. Oh, that clipped her. And I heard the thud from over here down on the first base side in our broadcast setup. And it missed her elbow guard. It looked like it got her, oh yeah, right on the shoulder. You hope it caught more muscle than bone. That's what it sounded like, that it hit something soft rather than an actual shoulder blade. And she takes a moment to shake it off. The good news for Southern Utah is that she looks to be okay. And she is now aboard as the tying run, and Riley Williams at bat. A big fly would propel Southern Utah into the lead with a chance to end a 42-day drought without a victory in the top of the 7th. 1 out, 2 on. First pitch from Rainey is a ball. Rainey was over 100 pitches yesterday. Was just a few shy of 120 for the ball game, so she's got plenty of arm left. as she seeks to finish this one out. Williams on the ground, foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. She was one of 4 seniors honored yesterday. Wetton, who hits in front of her as well, Weaver behind her, and Gianna Carasoni, the shortstop, the 4, who had a nice ceremony after game 2, and in their final home series here at Catherineburg Field, they are trying to send themselves off with at least 1 win after 2 losses yesterday. Williams has a hitter's count, 2-1. Wind continues to blow across the field towards first base. Definitely impacting her ability to send one out of the yard. 2-1. Lays off, and now an even better hitter's count. Rainey, who has issued 2 walks and hit a batter so far, trying to avoid giving her 3rd free pass to the Thunderbirds lineup. Slicing drive. Tago in foul territory makes the play. Runners tag and move up. Wetton to second, Sepulveda to third, and a productive out there for Riley Williams as the tying run now stands at second base. She had a pretty good inside-out swing. Tago does well to get over and play the wind, but good heads-up base running from Southern Utah to get a couple in scoring position. And it looks like Andrew Rich wants to talk things over with his pitching and defense. Idaho State attempting to do to Southern Utah what the Thunderbirds did to them a season ago up in Pocatello, and that's sweep them on their home field. This is the only time these teams will meet. Southern Utah mathematically eliminated from the Big Sky Conference tournament with just 4 league games remaining. And Montana has got 5 league wins themselves in front of them. Idaho State leapfrogged the Grizz with a couple wins yesterday. They're 4-6 in league play, 21-21 this year. So they're trying to keep things rolling as the season winds down, as they jockey for seeding for the tournament up in Ogden in the middle of May. But Dreamweaver wants to help Southern Utah finally get back in the win column. Strike 1 from Haley Rainey, who is still powering the ball into the mitt of Bella Hansen here in her 5th relief inning of work, and now 102 pitches. Weaver today, a perfect 3 for 3. A double off of Ramirez in the first, couple of singles off of Rainey. Haley Rainey is 1 strike away from stranding a pair of Thunderbirds. Trying to keep the lead intact. Rainey ready, the 0-2 to Dreamweaver. Good block by Bella Hansen, with the speedy Sepulveda down at third, and the equally quick Wetton at second. Hansen has to be a solid backstop back there for the Bengals. 1-2 pitch to Weaver. Deuces. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 aboard, 2-run game. A battle of number 3s in the circle and in the box. The pitch. The second game yesterday dominated by Emma McMurray in the circle for Idaho State. This one, much more drama. 2-2. The first game yesterday was tightly contested as well. Southern Utah jumped out to a 4-0 lead. They were up 3-0 to begin this one. Idaho State, a group of comeback kids who don't quit, have been fighting and clawing ever since the Thunderbirds were up 3-0 after one. They lead 7-5, trying to keep the lead intact. Another 2-2 from Rainey. Swing and a miss. She strikes out Weaver, strands a couple. We go to the 7th. Idaho State leads by 2, 7-5, trying to tack on some insurance runs when we return.
Lucky for me, there's some great golf here in the Carolinas. Whether you golf or not, Geico could help you score some great savings on car insurance. Whoa! Oh, hole in one.
Geico. See all the ways you could save.
At Metro by T-Mobile, you can upgrade to 5G and save more with one line of unlimited 5G for just $40, period. That's the lowest price in prepaid. Switch now and take your movie night to new heights with 5G. Only at Metro.
At Torque, we're building the self-driving transportation of tomorrow. But when I fly commercial, I fly ROA.
When you really commit to a garden and nurture it, your energy goes into the fruits and the vegetables that you're growing.
Find more ways to grow at miraclegrow.com.
Grace Owen has delivered a scoreless inning of work and relief so far, and Southern Utah needs her to do it again if the deficit is to remain at a pair of runs with the bottom of the 7th right around the corner. Spencer McLaughlin with you from the Catherineburg field in Cedar City, Utah, where Southern Utah is 0-8 this year, trying to avoid being swept for the 3rd time in as many series here on their home field. And in a dogfight right now with Idaho State as Owen bounces up ball 1 ball, 1 strike. Morgan Hess, the hitter. She'll be followed by Piper Tago and Bella Hansen. 6, 7, 8 for Idaho State as they look to move above 500 on the season. They had lost 2 straight coming in, including a game Tuesday against Utah State in which they led 8-0 and saw the Aggies come all the way back. But they've completed a couple comebacks this weekend themselves. This one is hit out to center. Wetton camps under it. 1 out. Idaho State was down 4-0 in game 1 yesterday. Came back and won 6-5. They were down 3-0 today. And they will take a lead into the bottom of the 7th. The question is how wide the gap will be. You know, Idaho State would love to tack on some insurance runs. Piper Tago trying to do just that. 4 home runs this year. Smacked one yesterday in game 2. Wind really starting to pick up. You can see the dust and dirt being blown across the field. That wind is going still straight towards first base, which is hurting the hitters. Not right at them, but definitely making it tougher and impacting the way that balls are played when hit to the outfield. There's a strike from Grace Owen. The wind has been steady in the 8 to 10 mile an hour range. It's picking up, getting close to 15, maybe even 18 miles an hour right now, matching the number on the back of Grace Owen's jersey. She's behind 2-1, trying to get back into it. Boostet, crow hop, 2 down. Homestead. Second time this afternoon that she has made a put out on a Tago sister. Got Frankie back in the first to strand a runner at third, gets Piper here, and now Bella Hansen bats with 2 outs, nobody aboard, in a 7-5 ball game. Final home series for Southern Utah. They'll have another home game, a non-conference matchup with BYU this coming Wednesday. We'll have that for you here on ESPN+. But right now the Thunderbirds in the midst of an L17, trying to snap out of it and give themselves a chance in the home half. They will have 5, 6, and 7 coming up. Calderon, Franson, and Carasoni will be tasked with at least extending the game for Southern Utah. Idaho State probably going to keep riding with Haley Rainey, who has been excellent in 5 innings of relief, allowing 2 runs. Hansen hits one hard, eats up Carasoni on the backhand, and she beats it out. We'll see if that goes down as an E6, probably will. And this ball hit pretty hard, but Hansen, not the quickest runner that Idaho State has, and Carasoni would have had a chance to make a play had she held on. Special pinch runner comes out, one catcher for another. Jillian Martinez runs for Hansen down at first. And the batter, Miley Newman. Or excuse me, Skylar Sethman is the hitter in the number 9 slot for the Bengals. Owen comes back to get into the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Sethman has struggled in the series. She was hit by a pitch to drive in a run back in the 5th. But overall is 1 for 8, swinging the bat. Did score yesterday, walked and stole a base, but struck out a couple of times and has hit a couple of flyouts, 1 to Weaver in left and 1 to Massoud in right. Here this afternoon, she hits for the 4th time, looking for another RBI. Hits a chopper, Sepulveda, the flip, and it's a 2-run game as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Rally caps time for Southern Utah, and Idaho State will attempt to put the clamps down on a series sweep. Back in Cedar City for the bottom of the 7th when we come back.
PTI, I need the PDF, COB, AKA EOD. What's the ETA?
ASAP, FYI.
See my IM?
TLDR.
What?
Too long, didn't read.
We don't need any more acronyms, but we could all use more ways to save.
PNX, YOLO!
I'm defeated, feel mistreated. I'm so angry, I'm singing a song. 'Cause I'm paying so much for home internet, and that's just wrong.
I've got T-Mobile home internet. I feel happy.
Great.
Very happy.
Good for you.
Look how much money I'm saving right now.
Wait, really?
There's no hidden fees, no price hikes, one core.
Introducing T-Mobile 5G home internet. Just $50 a month. It's that simple.
Well, I prefer to hit the trail and greenways on my bike. When I do fly, I fly ROA.
5, 6, and 7 coming up for Southern Utah as they attempt to start a rally and snap their 17-game losing skid, looking for their first win in 42 days. March 13th in the Dixie State tournament against Maine was the last time they were in the win column. McKenna Calderon, the catcher, leads things off, and Haley Rainey delivers her 108th pitch of the contest, and not the best one that she has thrown this afternoon. She went 7 strong yesterday, allowing 5 runs, only 1 earned. Southern Utah's 4 runs came via 3 errors in a single inning, and then she allowed another one later in the game. And she is behind of the Thunderbirds' backstop, 2 balls and no strikes. Good work from the Southern Utah bullpen. All 4 available arms pitched this afternoon for Don Williams. A rocket into center, diving play made by Rhiann Lewis for the first out. Well, not a lot you can do about that. If you're McKenna Calderon, she hits it on the money, but Lewis, well positioned, had a great jump on that ball. And so it is a dramatic first out for the Thunderbirds here in the 7th. Ball 1 to Capri Franzen. Carasoni waits on deck. That ball was hit on a frozen rope, but just a little too hard and not in the right spot. This one is hit hard up the middle for a base knock. Capri Franzen, her 2nd hit of the ball game, and the Thunderbirds have the tying run at the plate in the form of Gianna Carasoni. The Michigan transfer hit just 1 home run a season ago, does not have a long ball this year. Has struggled at the plate, primarily been the leadoff hitter for the Thunderbirds, but hitting 7th this afternoon after an 0 for 7 with a couple of Ks yesterday. She did single and was caught stealing as part of a strike him out, throw him out double play in the 5th, and she grounds into a game-ending double play in the 7th. A series sweep for Idaho State as Cano makes the turn, does it all on her own, and the Thunderbirds make it 18 straight losses, and Idaho State moves back over 500 to 22-21 here in the 2022 softball campaign. We'll take a pause. When we come back, we'll hear from SUU head coach Don Williams. Stick around on ESPN+.
Lucky for me, there's some great golf here in the Carolinas. Whether you golf or not, Geico could help you score some great savings on car insurance. Whoa! Oh, hole in one.
Geico. See all the ways you could save.
At Metro by T-Mobile, you can upgrade your adventure because we're giving you more choices with the largest selection of free 5G phones from brands you love like Samsung. Switch now and save more. Only at Metro.
At Torque, we're building the self-driving transportation of tomorrow. But when I fly commercial, I fly ROA.
How good does a shrimp from a chicken place have to be to become the almost #1 best-selling shrimp in America? Popeye's kind of good. So give it a try today with our shrimp tackle box for only $6.
grab a chair for Coach? Welcome back to Catherineburg Field, where Southern Utah is swept once again by the Bengals of Idaho State, who repay the favor after Southern Utah swept them up in Pocatello a season ago. And Idaho State victorious 6-5, 7-2, and 7-5, the scores this weekend, as they spoil Southern Utah's weekend in which they honored 4 seniors yesterday, one of whom, Gianna Carasoni, hit into the game-ending double play there. Heck of a turn from Angelica Cano, and it was the Haley Rainey show this weekend. Emma McMurray with a dominant pitching performance yesterday. She went the distance, 7 innings, gave up 2 runs, but Rainey in game 1 yesterday went 7 innings, gave up 5, just 1 of them earned. She goes 6 in relief of starter Marina Ramirez here this afternoon, and she allows just 2 runs. And Southern Utah had some opportunities in this game, but Idaho State was ultimately able to clamp down and tighten the screws defensively, flashing a little bit of leather at the Thunderbirds as Coach Williams gets set to join me here. And I'm joined now by SCU head softball coach. I guess we can. We're going to come on camera here for you momentarily, or so I was literally just told. Live broadcast, live production is really fun. SU head softball coach Don Williams, Spencer McLaughlin with you. Coach, a couple of tightly contested games this weekend. Yesterday you run into a tough pitcher in Emma McMurray, but overall your team this weekend, a couple of really close losses.
Really did us in, and then the errors and the base on balls and the wild pitches. So we have to eliminate those so we can produce more runs and come out on top.
From a pitching perspective, you throw 4 pitchers here this afternoon in game number 3. Everyone that you have available actually on staff, with Madison Lindsay still out for the season, unfortunately. But what did you see from your relievers and how they worked through the latter portion of that game, specifically Capri Franzen and Grace Owen?
I thought Capri came in and did a good job of throwing the change up and getting them off balance. And then Grace just always does a great job coming in and eliminating the walks and rolling a lot of ground balls for us. And so she did a good job, especially after being sick all week, and she didn't get a bullpen all week.
At the plate, your team has had some struggles this year, lowest batting average in the Big Sky, but you put up 5 runs, just 2 in game 2 yesterday. Again, a tough pitcher in Emma McMurray, who was absolutely lights out, allowed just 1 hit through the first 6 innings, but you come up and put 5 up again here in game number 3. How would you assess your offensive performance this weekend?
You know, we got a little bit better, but we were missing those timely hits. We had a lot of runners on 2nd and 3rd with 1 out or no outs, and so we've got to find those timely hits to produce those runs. And so, you know, we're seeing some small improvements, but we still have a long way to go.
Well, one more home game here on Wednesday against BYU. Tough opponent in the Cougars, of course, but what do you want to see from your team in that game improve upon most from this series?
Well, I want us to get those timely hits and eliminate the errors. And if we come out and do that, you know, we're going to play competitive softball, and that's all we can ask right now.
I appreciate you taking the time, Coach. That's it for us today here at Catherineburg Field. Spencer McLaughlin, pleasure to have been with you. See you on Wednesday for SCU and BYU. This has been a production of ESPN. All games streaming live or archived in the ESPN app. See you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day.